Boxing versus MMA, the age-old debate. It's not really an age-old debate because MMA hasn't even been around that long. Which leads me to the point that's obvious. Shakur says that boxers are more skilled than MMA fighters. I think the guy's name is Jaquin Buckley or Jaquan, I don't know. I know the last name is Buckley, and he was very offended by that. He said boxers are disrespectful. He said Shakur is a ho 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 Merry Christmas, and he said that Shakur's fight with Tio was boring because he didn't want to take any risks because he's scared of losing his O. And he said the MMA is more predictable, the fights are more entertaining, and you don't know who's gonna win. Whereas in boxing, most of the time you know who's gonna win. I agree with the last part. Most of the time in boxing, it's clear who's gonna win because these guys are trying to protect the O. But are boxers at the highest level more skilled than MMA fighters at the highest level? It's a simple yes, and it's because of the design. I don't know why I was just stuttering just now. I said did. Maybe I'm tired, but the design of boxing, you're only worried about one thing: your hands. Of course, there's defense, but some fighters neglect that. But if, in MMA, you have to worry about defense as well. So you have your hands and defense. That's really two things, and that's it. Your hands and your defense. In MMA, they have to worry about head, shoulders, knees, toes. I'm exaggerating, but they have to worry about elbows, knees. They have to worry about kicks, punches, wrestling, trying not to get submitted. They have to worry about so many different aspects of martial arts. So they say when a person goes blind, their hearing, their taste buds, their sense of touch, all of their other senses are heightened. They get added ability to their other senses. You know why? Their brain has less to focus on. So it's just a basic concept. If boxers are only focused on defense and hands, and MMA fighters are focused on hands, feet, elbows, knees, wrestling, there's no way that they could be more skilled than a boxer when you do it when you compare the two at the highest level. It's impossible. They have way too many things to be worried about. But that's also what makes their sport unpredictable. I believe both sports have a place in combat. In the combat sports world, I believe that they offer different things. And I agree with Buckley that boxers shouldn't disrespect MMA fighters because, yes, you can become a very skilled boxer and your skill will be higher than the MMA fighter's skill because they're trying to master so many crafts at once. But at the end of the day, you still got to respect the fact that these guys are taking elbows and knees and kicks. A kick, a well-trained kick, is going to be harder than a punch all day. You know why? The legs are more powerful than the arms. Look at the MMA fighters, their faces. Look at their ears. You know what I mean? Look at that one dude who had his gum and his jaw was all broken. You could just see it. Like MMA is nasty and it's grueling, and they risk their lives and their bodies just like boxing. So I think that it should be a respect level across the board. But Shakur is right. Um, Boxers at the highest level are more skilled than MMA fighters at the highest level, and it's by design. And Buckley is right in the sense that it shouldn't be disrespect going on. But I don't know if Shakur was being disrespectful. He was just stating the obvious, and maybe Buckley didn't understand that, that's just obvious. Yes, the highest level boxers are more skilled than the highest level MMA fighters, and it's not that big a deal. I mean, nobody's running up on a top level boxer, and nobody's running up on a top level MMA fighter. People could talk trash all day, but the average citizen, the average civilian, they know better. Of course, Bud ended up jumping in it because Buckley said something along the lines of, he would unalive Shakur if he caught him in the streets or something like that. And Bud was like, they got stuff to handle people like you, tough guys like you. Bud said, I'm scary. In other words, it's not gonna be. We ain't doing no fighting. Yeah, we could box, but if y'all gonna be on that MMA and all that wrestling and street fight, we ain't doing all that. We only fighting for money. And if you a member, if you listen to the rappers of today, or you listen to these YNs of today, then you already know what that means when they say we ain't doing no fighting. When my man say I use fighting words, but I do not box. So, hey man, but this is just a little interesting back and forth. But I think it was silly, and I agree with Shakur, man. Boxers more skilled at the highest level than MMA fighters. It is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think.